Welcome to Eventful Endeavors, secrets to crafting the perfect celebration. If you're planning an event and looking for useful tips from industry experts, you're in the right place. So get ready to take some notes and we'll dive right in. This is Eventful Endeavors.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Eventful Endeavors podcast. I am Matt with Felix and Fingers, and today we've got Kaitlin from It's Key Events. What's up, Kaitlin?
Hi, thank you for having me. Super excited.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. So start by telling us, if you would, what inspired you to get into doing weddings?
I actually kind of fell into it. So I studied event tourism down at IUPUI here in Indianapolis and pivoted to more of the sports side and really enjoyed doing internships with the Indianapolis Colts and Indianapolis Indians. And then for our last internship, we went and ran a venue that specialized in weddings. And that's kind of how we fell in love. And comparing it to sports, it's the adrenaline. One day you have to get it right. And from there on out, we ran that venue for about 3 years and then created It's Key Events shortly after and never turned back.
Very cool. Are you originally from the Indianapolis area?
I am born and raised in Indianapolis, so it's been really fun not only to already be involved in the community, but being able to do a lot of family weddings and friends and people I went to high school with and those connections. It's been a lot of fun.
Cool. What do you have coming up this summer that you feel most excited about?
Good question. I would say we kicked off our wedding season on 4/4, which was so much fun. It was actually Final Four weekend, so we had to pivot a lot there, but the
Well,
client was really fun to work with. And then we have a few special events this summer, and we actually just booked another wedding in August, and then we have a few falls. It's every single wedding's different, and a lot of them are pushing boundaries on design, which is super exciting to collaborate with a lot of vendors on that.
cool. So, what would you say the biggest shift has been in just sort of generally what you see and what couples are looking for in maybe the last couple of years?
I would say the shift has been cost. I think the cost and the demand from COVID has been pretty tricky for a lot of people to navigate. When COVID happened, people put a pause, people went to smaller backyard events and smaller count. And then as the years have gone by, we're getting bigger and bigger wedding count again. But with that, we also have higher cost. And so I think there's a mix of that on the planning side for clients. It's a little bit harder to budget and plan for a wedding now versus a few years ago. But then on the design side, I feel like a lot of my clients are becoming more particular and personable with how they're going to plan their day and what they want to do with their day, whether it is a smaller, medium guest count or spending more time with their guests or even pausing and taking a moment to have dinner, just the two of them. I think people are pushing away the traditionals A, B, and C, and D and creating a wedding to really fit their personality and their wants, which is, I think, great on their aspect because then they can enjoy their wedding and not feel so rushed and feel like they are just doing it to keep it the standard or believe that they have to keep it that way.
And how important would you say music is now in these current wedding times?
Oh, I think it's still very important. I think it's not only giving the guest and the wedding party and the couple that hype up that they need, but it's the entertainment. We are a society that needs to be entertained. If we're not entertained, we get bored, we want to leave, we don't want to do anything. And it's truly setting the tone for an event. You want to walk into a room and you want to hear that music. You want that music to not be broken up, whether it's on a speaker system. You want that clear quality because it, one, changes the way people feel right when they walk in, and two, it's giving them something to watch and to enjoy if it's live as well. So I still think it's always important, but I believe it's a different level because weddings are a little bit more of an entertainment now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are you seeing most of your couples coming to you with music already kind of figured out, or are they looking to you to take care of that for them?
I think it's a 50-50. I think every couple has a vision, and it really depends. We have couples that have gone to weddings and they're like, we really didn't like how that focused, so we're going to focus on how that was kind of like sounding or hearing. And so we want to focus more on making it, again, that entertainment, or we want to make sure that we have something different that people will remember. One of our weddings, actually, in November, we have live music that will wander around cocktail hour because they want that entertainment feel, that high buzz, that energy. Because in November, of course, it gets dark earlier. So everyone kind of gets a little bit more, okay, it's dark, I want to chill. But bringing in the live music for cocktail hour kind of awakens everyone and gets everyone super excited for the live dancing later and the entertainment. So we have people going like that, or we have people that are like, we just want the traditional DJ and keep it simple, but we want them to play our songs. So it just kind of depends on the client.
Are you seeing more DJ or more live lately?
I've actually been seeing more mix. I've been seeing a lot of live music during cocktail hour and dinner, and then a switch to DJ. Or we're going to do a DJ for a certain amount, and then we're going to switch to live music for open dance, which has been really fun to mix it both ways. So then the crowd also gets a mix of both.
Yeah, I see that. I see how that could be good for the way things are now. What would you say is something that you are doing that you feel like is unique that you're bringing to the Indianapolis wedding market? That's kind of your thumbprint on the scene, if you would say.
That is a great question. I would say my background being from here, but also being in every position before I created my business and as I'm still in my business. Like I mentioned, worked for the sports, but I also did a side of decorating. I worked for a florist, I worked for a caterer. And so being able to see essentially every side of a vendor that is collaborating on a wedding, one, I know what they're dealing with on their side, but then at the same time, I understand pricing a little bit more just because I've been on that side. I've put up the hanging greenery from the ceiling. I know the ups and downs on a ladder. I'm able to truly talk about a quote and say, I've been here, done that. This is why the cost is here. And so when I'm breaking down things with my clients, I truly understand why the cost is that way. But I've also know how long it's probably going to take for setup because I've also been on that end. So I would technically say my well rounded ability to be in all of those positions before I decided to transfer into wedding planning gives me the ability to work with more vendors easy easier, understand where they're coming from and how to solve a problem pretty quickly.
Have your clients ever requested doing pianos, or have you ever seen that at a wedding before?
Yes. So I actually had my first wedding with just its key events after I stepped away from the venue management side was a dueling pianos.
Wow, how did that go?
Yeah. It was amazing. It was one of those things I put it on my list like this is what I want at my wedding. So,
Wow, how about that?
yeah. Yeah.
Cool. That's so great. Yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
excited to get the Felix and Fingers thing really going in Indianapolis.
I think it's a perfect spot. I think Indy is entertainment and we're transforming into such a great hype culture that you guys will find a perfect spot here.
Yeah, no, that's really, really exciting. So, do you have any advice you might give yourself to when you were starting from now, from what all you've seen?
Patience. I don't have patience.
Me either.
I don't think anyone does. Yeah, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
I think it's patience and understanding. I really enjoyed the fact that I took time to understand every single vendor's eye point, as well as networked with a lot of vendors to see one, how they run their business, but essentially their why and how they go through a wedding day has been able to make me a better planner for my clients because I can speak on every single vendor and back up why I'm suggesting them or why they are a preferred vendor of its key events.
That's so cool. How far would you say you typically go outside of the city? Like, are you brought on to do stuff, not just locally, or is it pretty much just Indianapolis?
It's pretty much Indianapolis and the surrounding areas. We've done a few out of state and we'll let let the other wedding planners that are great at destination weddings to take those over
Cool.
because it's just not our cup.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have some favorite venues that you get most excited about or that you recommend most to your couples?
That's a trick question. I think Indianapolis and the surrounding areas have amazing venues and a wide range of venues to pick from depending on size and style and budget. But I do think in the upcoming years, Indy has a lot of really cool opportunities because we have two new venues popping up, the Westwood and Westfield, as well as the Gable, that Mustard Seed's property in Noblesville. Those two venues are just launched actually this year. And there's a few others that are launching. And so I think you never don't have an option at the end of the day because there's so many venues getting built or being redone, and downtown Indy is always popping up. So I know that doesn't answer your question, but I think it just depends on what the client's looking for.
Yeah. So you have a preference when you're working in that, you know, could be this, could be that. Like, do you lean one way just in your own personal preference with what you do, or you like them both the same?
I think I like them both the same because it really depends on the client. I'm not picking a venue for my client based on my wants and needs. I think it is a big bonus when I know that vendor or that venue is easy to work with, great at communication, offers a lot. That's always a win-win for my client because I know they're going to have a smooth process. But I started running a barn venue, but last week or in April, we were downtown, saw the city skyline. So we really can go both ways.
Yeah, cool. That's definitely something I feel like that's cool about Indianapolis as a wedding market.
I never thought of that way. And I think that is a great quality that we do have, but I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah, cool. So I think that's about all the questions I have. Is there any advice or input you'd like to share with anyone who might be listening in terms of event planning, things like that?
I think my one major advice to all my couples and anyone that I run into that's getting engaged and going through the planning process would be one, be kind to yourself. It feels like you only talk about the wedding once you have a ring. It's the only thing people ask you about, but you have to enjoy a few nights not stressing over it and not talking about it. But two, things do happen at weddings, and there's some things that we can't control. But at the end of the day, you have to remember that you are marrying your soulmate, your best friend. And if you hire a very good vendor team, you'll never know what happened and you'll never see it or feel it. So it doesn't matter.
Well, thanks so much for your time, Caitlin. I appreciate you coming on the
Yes.
podcast, and hopefully we'll be Felix and Fingers one of your weddings real soon.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for
Awesome.
having us.
Later. See you, Caitlin.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Eventful Endeavors, Secrets to Crafting the Perfect Celebration. We hope to have left you with some actionable ideas for your own event. If you like the show, please subscribe and definitely leave us a review. We read every comment. So until next time, happy planning and see you soon on Eventful Endeavors.